They'll say Pandavas won. They didn't win. They lost each and every child. Draupadi loses her children. Bhima loses his children. Arjuna loses Abhimanyu. They all die. Everybody's being right. That's why this word right is a very dangerous word. Arjuna is trying to portray himself as a nice guy. Arjuna is saying, I don't see the other. Both sides are me. And Krishna looks at him and says, on what basis? If they were strangers, you're okay killing them, slaughtering them. Your only problem is not with violence. Your problem is with killing family. You were doing what was convenient for you. You didn't have the courage to speak up to your brother when he was gambling. Because you were too good being the younger brother who has to obey the elder brother, and your obedience has brought the world to this point. Are you willing to take responsibility for your action?
What could a modern human learn from that?
Civilization creates nepotism.
Yeah.
Because my child, even if he's not capable of it, should inherit my property is essentially nepotism. When it's convenient, you change the rules for yourself, but you did not change the rules for Karna. You did not change the rules for Ekalavya. Dharma is when you look at what others want. The shift from what I want to what the other wants is the journey from karma to dharma.
I was reading your book, My Gita, fantastic book, and what struck me from the book, one of the many things is that Mahabharata is all about relationships, and which makes a lot of sense because our whole life is actually a relationship. Our relationship with our families when we're growing up, our whole lives with our colleagues when we're working, with the world around us, nature, society, and with ourselves. Everything is a relationship. Can you just take me through that beautiful a quote that you had where you explain how a human body has 9 gates, and therefore when 2 humans come together, that's 18, and how that fits into the Mahabharata?
I found this verse within the Gita which describes the body as Navadvarapura, the city with 9 gates. And I found that interesting because I said when 2 people sit together, there are 2 cities talking to each other. So 18 gates and all. And therefore it is about relationships. And then you realize, Gita is about relationships. It's about what constitutes insider, what is an outsider. And I think that's what the conversation is all about. How do you decide this is my friend, this is my family, this is a stranger, this is an enemy, this is a rival, this is an ally? How do you decide? So I've always wondered why the number 18 is so important to the Mahabharata, right? The Mahabharata is 18 chapters. The Gita has 18 chapters. The battle takes place over 18 days. There are 18 armies involved. So 18 is a recurring number. If you go to the Sabrimala temple, it has 18 steps. So I kept wondering, what does 18 mean? And of course, there's no way to prove what it is. The start of the Gita is something that Dhritarashtra tells Sanjay. So the first verse is the most important because it begins with Dharma Kshetra Kurukshetra. And it's the only time where you need to know a little bit of Sanskrit, or you just translate it in Google Translate. And the translation is very beautiful because it says, what's happening in the battlefield between my sons and Pandu's sons. Now this sounds like an innocuous statement. My sons and Pandu's sons. And it makes no sense if you've never read the Mahabharata. Mahabharata will tell you that Pandu happens to be Dhritarashtra's brother. So he could have said, my sons and my brother's sons. Or he could have, we have got so many words for nephews, right? So, mere bhatije hai.
He removed the me.
He removed the me completely. So he sees them as outsiders. My children and those pretenders, those attackers, those people. Paraye hai wo. To apne paraye. He's very clear, me and them.
Just before Krishna talks to Arjuna about, delivers the Gita, Arjuna has a panic attack. He's standing out there and I just want to come to that place because you've gone on to the battle with mixed emotions for sure, and suddenly you reach there and you're Arjuna, the greatest warrior in the world, the man who can shoot a fish while looking up. And suddenly you see a whole family in front of you, your uncles who are like your parents, basically, everyone who you know and loved your whole life, and you're like, I have to kill all of them or they have to kill me. It's an insane choice. and you have a panic attack. I mean, and Arjuna, I just want to quote him. He says this beautiful thing: "My limbs fail and my mouth is parched. My body quivers and my hair stands on end. The bow slips from my hand and my skin burns all over. I am unable to stand and my mind is whirling." Full-blown panic attack. And he's weeping. And that's when Krishna comes in and shoots this diamond bullet. So can you just take us through that? What is going on in Arjuna's mind, and how does Krishna start?
Arjuna is saying, I don't see the other. Both sides are me. And Krishna looks at him and says, on what basis? If they were strangers, you're okay killing them, slaughtering them. So basically, it's okay to kill strangers. Your only problem is not with violence. Your problem is with killing family. That's the problem. So there's nothing noble about what you're doing. If there were some foreigners, barbarians, outsiders, threats, you would have killed all of them. Your whole life is you've been trained to murder people. But when it comes to murdering family, you seem to have morals and ethics emerging. Where are these morality and ethics when you were killing non-family members? So when people say Ramayana, Gita is about violence, and no, it's not about, it is, they're saying that you seem to have a very interesting standard of violence. So now look at my Vishwarupa and tell me, how do I decide which side to stand on? Because I have no family, everybody is my family. The predator and the prey. So how do I decide on which side of the battlefield I should stand? That's what he's saying. If you do just a linguistic analysis of the Gita, put it on a computer and just say the number of times the word Kula or family appears, and where does it appear? And the word Dharma, how many times does it appear in the Gita? Just do a simple mathematical count. The word Kula is only used by Arjuna.
I see.
Krishna never uses the word Kul. He uses the word Dharma. At the beginning and at the end. He doesn't look at the word Kula. Kula is about property. It's about, this is mine.
Mine. Ownership.
Hindu philosophy is all about chhod do. So when you go to a funeral ground, you never turn back. You throw the pot from behind if you have seen a funeral ceremony. And this philosophy is forgotten today. This clinging on to things. So Mahabharata deals with this very foundational issue, saying nothing really belongs to you. There is no such thing as family. Relationships can be forged between anybody. You can be friends with anyone. You can be lovers with anyone. You can be enemies with anyone. You don't need a reason. It's your insecurity which creates these rules. You can be brothers and fight forever. So that's what the Mahabharata is drawing his attention to. He's saying, first, let's just figure out where these borders are coming from. That they are mine, they are not mine. So if that's your basis, then you've got your basics wrong. So first he wipes out all the borders. That's the beginning of the Gita. And see, he knows, right? Karna is on the other side. He says, I'm going to make you kill him.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you kill him. And then when you realize he's your brother, you'll be like, oh, I killed my brother. So if you don't know, how do you know they are not all your brothers?
Got it. So, when you talk about Krishna unraveling all these borders, these boundaries, these judgment, I guess. Basically, he's saying, don't judge. You're judging everything. Would you say that?
He's saying, look at life without these borders.
Right.
And let's look at a world without borders. Now, let me ask you, tell me a world without borders. It's nature. Nature has no borders.
Nature, yes.
So, in animal kingdom, there are territories. But you can hold on to the territory as long as you're strong. If you're stronger, somebody will come and take over. A tiger has a territory, elephants have territories, birds have territories. They're very, very, very violent, right? Animals are not friendly when their territory is threatened. You see the
kill or be killed.
Kill or be. That's very brutal, right? It's brutal. That scene you have to keep in mind. That animals have territories, but they can't inherit property. So if you are strong, the jungle is the ultimate meritocracy.
If your child is not strong enough to keep that little piece of earth, off it goes.
Off it goes. Boo-hoo. No law.
Civilization. That's what civilization put all these things in.
So civilization creates nepotism.
Yeah.
Because my child, even if he's not capable of it, should inherit my property is essentially nepotism. And Krishna is smiling and looking and saying that you're basically, when people talk about Nepo, I'm like, but bhaiya, that is what is protecting you.
Everyone, protecting everyone.
All of us are protected by that simple rule, because you are benefiting from what your father has earned. It's nepotism. Dronacharya is telling my son Ashwatthama, nepotism. Your son has become a king. But as per law, Brahmins are supposed to be doing puja part and not at the battlefield. What are you doing? When it's convenient, you change the rules for yourself, but you did not change the rules for Karna. You did not change the rules for Ekalavya, but you changed the rules for yourself. And Krishna is watching it. He deconstructs it and says that, okay, let's give him what this gyan is supposed to have been given by his teacher. But his teacher didn't give him that gyan.
Right.
His teacher failed him because he did not teach dharma to his students, which is his primary job. Guru ka adar karna chahiye. Dronacharya's head is cut. Nihatte par waar nahi karna chahiye. Karna is killed. Apnon ko marna nahi chahiye. Shalva is killed. Shalya is killed in the last, who is uncle. Mama hai wo, to mama ko marte hain. So in the Mahabharata, you're effectively killing everything that we as Hindus are told ki badon ka adar karo.
What could a modern human learn from that?
See your parents, your teachers, your elders as human beings. They are all children. We are all animals.
Don't deify something. Don't
believe the packaging. Look within. Which is why Krishna begins by discussing Dehi. This 9, which we talked about, the city of 9 gates. Who is the resident of the 9 gates? Dehi. Deha ke andar jo baithta hai, use Dehi. So when you look at your parents, don't look at your parents' body, the Navadvara Pura. Look within. Look at their insecurities. Look at their fears. Look at their prejudices. Look at their biases. Look at their fears. Look at how they create borders. How they justify hierarchy. They're humans. Like you, they are on a journey. They just came 20 years before you or 30 years before you. It doesn't make them special. None of them become special because they were 30 years elder to you or 40 years elder to you or 50 years, or they went to a better school, or they are wearing better clothes, or they have a different kind of job. It's the same. But you see what happens when I go to meet a minister or I go to meet I'm getting terrified because my body immediately responds to the Navadvara Pura. I see the house, I see the clothes, I see the person in front of me. They are also trying to intimidate you.
The external shell.
The shell, the Navadvara. We began with Navadvara,
yes,
right?
The 9 doors.
And Krishna is saying, Andar dekho, Dehi, not Deha. Deha is nonsense.
Look beyond the 9
And what
gates.
are they doing? They are also looking at his body.
They're also looking at him in that way. You have to be ready to dismantle, including your own prejudices, but look at the other person for what they are.
See, when you see the other person long enough, you'll start seeing yourself. It's called Darshan. To see yourself through the other. So when you see the Navadvara through the other. See, Navadvara is sight, to see the sight. I can see your shirt, I can see your dadi, I know you're a man.
Right.
So all that, my Navadvara, that is sight.
Right.
But through that I get an insight. I now figure out something about you. As we keep talking, I'm figuring out. But the way I see you is a function of who I am. So sight leads to insight, leads to reflection. And thus I see myself. I feel very powerful when I can dominate him. Oh, why? Oh, you like dominating. You are a little powerless, power-hungry beaver out there who thinks he's special. And you're like, fuck, man, I discovered this about me. And now I look at the other person and say, no, I should not intimidate him. I should make him feel comfortable. Now you have changed. It is called Samaya. In Sanskrit, it's called Samaya. You made music, right? You know music so well. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa.
Right.
So you go round and you come back. Sight, insight, reflection. Sight, insight, reflection. And as you keep doing that, your way of looking at the world changes. You become more and more confident. And it's not an easy process. It keeps happening every day. The more you learn, the more you read, your world keeps changing. It's like somebody said, when I graduated, I realized my parents were smarter. Because suddenly you start start realizing, my parents have grown up. Yeah, they did grow up.
Right.
So when you start looking at your parents as human beings, you suddenly see them, which we don't do. We don't see our parents as human beings. We don't see them as insecure people, yearning, they are pining, they are heartbreak.
As human beings, you're right. Because you have the Navadvara is so strong. Naturally, because you saw them since you were born, you've developed those blinkers, which is hard to...
I do counseling for some kids, gay kids. I'm gay, so I talk to gay kids and they're like, my parents don't understand me. So I look at them and said, okay, describe your parents having sex. And they're like, what are you saying, Devdutt? How can you talk like that? And I'm like, but you are telling them to imagine you having sex. Because the moment you told you're gay, they are wondering what the fuck you do in bedrooms.
Their mind is going there.
And they are like disgusted by that idea because they've never experienced that.
Yes. Disgusted or just...
They don't know it.
They don't know what, it's a new thing.
Anything which you don't know frightens you, terrifies you. I said, the way you reacted when I asked you to look at your parents having sex is exactly how they're reacting. But then you breathe. And then you realize that you were born from a process like that. And then you realize, oh, they are also human. And oh, there must be awkward. And oh God, my birth was not in some romantic way. It could have been some really, we don't know. And then he said, now you'll be kinder to them. You'll be patient with them. You yourself will remember how difficult it was for you to have sex. And all the embarrassing things you went through. This is something that we don't understand. This is what the Bhagavad Gita is beginning with.
So, what can we take from that? So, from what I understand, basically, Krishna is telling Arjuna as part of his unraveling of the mind of Arjuna in a way, and the world as such, and giving him explanations for everything. He's saying that everything is a relationship. So how does that fit in for all of us? Like, how does that help us to know that everything is a relationship?
So it means in a relationship, are you the predator or the prey? Let's go to the very basics. Are you eating or you're being eaten? So when you walk into the boss's chamber, who is more scared?
The boss. He would hope or she would hope.
Everybody's scary. Everybody's trying to frighten the other.
Right.
And each one is playing the game, the card. If you've been on a negotiating table, you know how it works. Everybody's like, I am smarter than you. That's why we love films where the dude aadmi hai. And Krishna is watching. And saying, yeah, really. Because at the end of the day, you're going to die.
Right.
And you'll have tubes sticking out of you.
So how do you balance the fact that you are going to die at the end of the day? Everything is ephemeral, including you. But at the same time, today you have to play the dude or the dudette. And
Krishna is saying you don't have to play anything.
Right.
You're not obliged to do any of it. What stops you from being generous? It's not your wealth anyway. So everybody says, I have no ego. I says, then give me your property. De do na? Inheritance mein 10% mere ko bhi de do.
But practically, how does that work?
Because it is practical. Arjuna is trying to portray himself as a nice guy. And he's saying, you're not really nice. You're just greedy.
And you're just like making choices that you...
Which is convenient for you.
Right.
As long as you're very happy being a prince, so long as you're told not the cost. The cost. This is the cost you have to pay.
Killing this, doing this, whatever. It's tough.
You are not willing to do the dirty work, right? Now you have to do the dirty work. And you have to deal with the guilt and the shame and the horror and the curses of it. He says, no, I want to walk away from it. He says, now you can't because you're in it. You have invested too much in it. As long as things were working in your favor, you were very happy being the prince. Now pay the price.
So is it like consequences?
It is consequences. You are at this moment because you didn't have the courage to speak up to your brother when he was gambling because you were too good being the younger brother who has to obey the elder brother, and your obedience has brought the world to this point. Are you willing to take responsibility for your action of that moment? My mother has told me that I should be obedient to my elder brother. Because you are being good boy. You were being the good boy.
So following a dogma.
You followed a dogma because you follow a dogma because it makes... See, when you say follow a dogma, it takes away responsibility for yourself. No. You were not following a dogma. You were doing what was convenient for you.
And calling it dogma.
And calling it dogma because then you can blame the other, no? Because wo dogma, uske system is to blame.
That's the rule. What can I do?
What can I do? What can I do? I can't stand up. No, let's be practical. The standard answer I get whenever I tell this is it'll come down to words like, let's be realistic, let's be practical. Which is what Arjuna is, and Krishna is just watching. Krishna is just watching, and he's like watching, and he's playing. He's saying, how far can I push this guy? Let me see how far it's going to go. So Gita has now created this two situation. This is about dependence versus independence. And Krishna is saying, I'm giving you a choice. First, be independent. Take a decision, be a man. Second is, you're a boy, still a boy. ठीक है, मैं बोलता हूँ करते. But there will be consequences either way.
Either way. Just because you're listening to me doesn't mean you're off the hook.
All the Pandava children die in the Mahabharata. They didn't win. They lost each and every child.
Yep.
Draupadi loses her children. Bhima loses her children. Arjuna loses Abhimanyu. They all die. And Krishna is cursed by Gandhari. So when somebody tells me that Gita is a great motivational manual, I tell them these things. Say, no, usko mat dekho. I say, see, you're not the story. The ancient men said the story has to be present. The Mahabharata is the Navadvara. And Gita is the Dehi inside the Deha. Dehi makes no sense without the Deha. If you don't know the story, Gita doesn't make sense. So the story is violent. It's a brutal, violent story of the price of kingship.
And what do you think is relevant today in that? In the brutal violence, in the fact that after trying all these things, trying to be good, doing all these things, ultimately all their children, all the Pandavas' children died.
Because we are not willing to compromise. The Kauravas are not willing to compromise. The Pandavas are not willing to compromise. And the question is, in the two relationships, Pandavas cannot compromise.
Their back is on the wall.
Yes. Because that is exploitation. And that is not Dharma. Because you will create an ecosystem that enables exploitation. And Krishna says that's not allowed. Because animals live that way. But the animals have a self-sustaining mechanism. No animal exploits another animal. A tiger will not go on killing the deer. It will eat that one deer and be happy. But humans will keep killing deer after deer after deer after deer after deer till the animal is extinct.
Or enslave them.
Or enslave them. So human beings do not have the luxury of not pushing back.
Yes.
You have, unfortunately, you have no choice. Will you burn another forest? You have already killed 1 million animals to build your city. Now they have taken over that city. Will you burn another forest and kill another 1 million animals for the sake of peace? Because someone has to die.
Right.
Either the animals will die or Kauravas will die. You take a call. And I think Kauravas have to die. Because they are wearing the crown and they are not behaving like kings. They are behaving like jamidars. King is not a jamidar. Kingdom is not their property. They are supposed to maintain an ecosystem of opportunity for all. They should find a way to live with you. But it is their personal problem with you that is causing them to destroy their entire city. This war is unnecessary. It can be resolved. But they are not interested in resolution. If they're not interested in resolution, unfortunately, we have to fight. Which means not only they, but you will also suffer. We all will suffer. Everybody will suffer. And this all could have been prevented if Drona had taught them correctly.
I mean, not many. It could have been prevented at many points.
If you go through the entire story, you can say, oh, we can stop here, stop here, stop here,
the
stop
gambling
here.
thing, it could have stopped. There are 100 areas where I made a mistake, you made a mistake, someone else made a mistake.
But nobody in the story, everybody's being right. That's why this word right is a very dangerous word.
Everybody's doing what they think is right.
And nobody's looking at the other. कोई दूसरे के बारे में नहीं सोच रहा है, सब अपने बारे में सोच रहे हैं.
Yes.
And this is me, mama, my son, my child, my property, my dignity, my career, my social growth, mine. So Dronacharya is obsessed with his position and his child. Bhishma is about his clan. And then Karna is like, no, but I want to be this thing. Yeah. I will be this thing. How can I not get it? Okay, all good. But when a woman is being publicly molested and you have no problem, what is the use of... Why do they make Draupadi's abuse such an important scene? Because she's elite.
Right.
And she's their sister-in-law. So your family is not safe. Elite is not safe. If the elite is not safe, the family is not safe.
What is there then?
There is no hope for society. And my dear Karna, although you come from a charioteer's family, you didn't feel for her. So let's look at which level matters to you. Woman letter obviously doesn't matter to you. Love doesn't matter to you. That she's royal woman doesn't matter to you. That she's a human being doesn't matter to you. Then why are you Kshatriya? To be a king? You are no different from the rest. There's nothing noble about you. Because at the end of the day, the Kauravas' mother, Gandhari, who is blindfolded, which is a very important thing, जो अपने बच्चों को नहीं देखा.
Yeah.
He's like, you killed my children, you killed my children. Father cannot see if mother will not see. And rather than taking responsibility, you're cursing me. Now you're saying, I am your God, you're intelligent. तू तो intelligent था, तू तो smart था, तू तो रोक सकता था. Hello? राजा कौन है स्टोरी में? तुम्हारे पति राजा है, तुम्हारे बेटे राजा हैं. They have all the power, they have all the agency.
They have the agency.
They have everything, and you are saying, I am responsible. Wow. Let's clap. So Krishna is just watching this as she's being cursed, and he doesn't retaliate. He holds her. So the story is a very brutal story. So when I read all these people writing Gita books, and you are talking about the Gita without the Mahabharata, you're missing the point of the story.
Right. I want to talk about rebirth, because that's a very interesting thing that's there in the Mahabharata and in, of course, part of Hindu religion, and how what we can learn from that today. Why is believing in rebirth something that can help someone today?
So again, the problem is we look at these things literally. What is rebirth trying to explain? It is trying to say that when you walk into this world, the fire has already started. You didn't start the fire, that was always burning.
Since the world was turning.
Yes. So the thing is, rebirth is telling you that when you walk into the world, lots of things have already happened before you. It is not coming, you're not coming into a clean slate. See, Western civilization believes that I came and everything will start. When I walk into the office, the world began. And the world will end when I leave the office. No, that's not true. There's a whole world existing before you, around you, after you. That is what karma is trying to explain. That you will say, I worked hard, but I didn't get what I want, because there are many forces at work. There are many, many forces in the forest at work. You can run as fast as you want as a deer. But as you are running, suddenly a pebble comes and you stumble and the tiger catches you. Now, how do you explain that incident? Is it coincidence? Is it karma? The pebble came, you died. Right? So that's how it happens. The world is filled with so many things. Why is the pebble over there? Because some bird dropped it. Why did the bird drop it? Because it was being chased by an eagle. So there are so many things in the world. You can't explain everything. You can't explain everything. And your mind is creating stories to create causality. And you start creating. So I'll give you a causality. It's past life. Because the easiest way to explain, because there's no way to prove it. Why am I born in a rich family? Why am I born in a poor family? Why was Karna abandoned at birth? He was born to a princess. She didn't have the courage to go to her father and says, I made a mistake. This is my child. And the father could have accepted the child and all would be good. Remember, in the Mahabharata, there is a woman called Chitrangada who gets pregnant and the father says, that child belongs to me and be raised by Chitrangada. So there are different kinds of families out there, right? There is Ulupi out there who produces a child and says, the husband goes away, it's fine. I'll take care of my child. So he's the middle child, the spare child. So Bhima lives all his life being the spare. So that is something that nobody talks about. Bhim is the strong man who is seen as inferior because he doesn't use the bow and arrow. He does hand-to-hand combat. He's the one who killed the 100 Kauravas, yet he's not considered the hero of the... When you talk about the Mahabharata and you say, who is the hero? People say Arjuna. Does he kill Bhishma? He couldn't kill Bhishma without the help of Shikhandi and Krishna.
Yes.
Did he kill Dronacharya? Not really. Did he kill Karna? Yeah, when he was unarmed.
Karna, yeah.
The Devdutt, when Krishna hit the sun, so without Krishna's help, he could have done nothing.
Amazing.
But barehanded, Bhima killed 100 Kauravas and nobody gives him credit.
It's very interesting.
So you see, that is what now. How does Bhima explain his life? He will say, how do you explain his life? Is it not unfair that he's being treated badly? Karma. In your past life.
But isn't that seen when you think of karma and I was born like this, I was born like that, it's it's a good thing and a bad thing. You can use
It's
it.
an explanation to calm you down.
Right.
That's all it means. It's an explanation to calm you down.
And what is the positive of believing in rebirth?
It just calms you down because you don't want to take responsibility. You don't accept facts. When you realize your husband is a jerk or your son is a stupid person.
So this is my lot.
My lot. Because how do you cope with it?
But I have another life. But don't you think, from when I read your book, My Gita, I felt that you were also saying that it helps to think about rebirth in a way, because then you realize that everything is not just you at this point. You're part of a longer continuum.
See, that is what Indian thought brings to the table. Indian thought doesn't make it transcendental. It says you are an animal in the forest. And every day in the forest, somebody gets killed. Every day, animals are getting killed. And nobody's crying justice. Because of only one reason. No animal overeats. In the human world, we overeat. You are a rich family which can easily share its kingdom to avoid war, but it doesn't.
What is Dharma?
To feed the other.
Empathy.
Feed the other and repay your debts. It's only one thing. Repay your debts. So when I feed you, I'm repaying my debt. But then now when the fact that I have fed you, you are now in my debt. And I have to observe whether you are repaying. We all have to repay our debts.
So what do I do then after you?
I just watch and see whether you repay.
But I don't expect anything, obviously.
फल की चिंता मत करो. But watch it. Indian vocabulary was accounting. हम लोग बनियों के देश है. It's something that nobody wants to admit, but karma system is all about accountability. Yamaraj, the first Yudhishthira, what is the father? He says, I want Dharmaraja, Yamaraja, the king of accountability. So his son is the god of accountability, who gambles. Gambling from an accounting point of view is what? The most rash action, right?
By far.
It's not risk. You've just ignored all the risks.
It's only risk. But when you talk about accountability with Dharma, is karma, like you spoke about. What is karma?
Karma is creating debt. Dharma is ending debt. Simple.
Creating debt by
any act you do. Any act of consumption creates debt. Any act of consumption.
So doing.
You eat food, you seek. Any action that keeps you alive creates karma. You want self-respect, you want anything you want. Anything you want is karma. Dharma is when you look at what others want. The shift from what I want to what the other wants is the journey from karma to dharma. That's all it is.
So karma is, it's like everything you do or not do means your life is your karma.
Is your karma. You're constantly doing something,
Yeah,
right?
Even by sitting, as Krishna explains, that every point you're doing something. Even at the most inactive phase, you're taking a lot of actions.
Every time you eat, how many animals have been killed?
Or plants.
Animals, plants, everything.
Yeah.
Living organisms are killed every minute that you exist.
Yes. So your debt
is just piling
just accumulating and accumulating debt by breathing the air and everything you're doing.
And you make it worse by being a nasty person. You make it worse by being a greedy person, by being a jealous person. Just simple act of living is creating karma, and you are accumulating by being ambitious, by being greedy, by being aggressive, by being nasty, by being jealous, by hating. Being kind. If I had to simplify things, it just comes to being kind. How can Arjuna be kind to people who have treated him so badly? Not by walking away from the battlefield, because he will just create more unkindness. Unfortunately, it's a time for tough love. And he has to pay the price for it, because he brought himself to this point. Look at the extreme point they've gone to. Can war be an act of kindness?
It can. I think in everyday life, people have situations where the war is a confrontation. It'll be in someone's life, a massive confrontation with whoever it is, their boss, their subordinate, their mother, their father, their child, whoever. Where, unlike Dhritarashtra, from his inaction was one of the cause of the Mahabharata. You have to act.
See, the question is act, and see, if your war is to accumulate, then it is karma. If your war is to feed, then it is dharma. So is Krishna accumulating or feeding? Eating or feeding? Just use a simple words for the audience nowadays will say, bahut mushkil. Let's keep it simple. When you go into the battle, are you eating or are you feeding?
In this case, they are feeding.
Who is feeding?
I mean, I guess Arjun, you're saying because...
He wants, but Arjun doesn't. The helplessness of Krishna is the greatest thing in the Mahabharata. Because Vyasa also says, I raise my hands and shout, shout. This very famous line. Just Google it. It's called Vyasa's statement. He says, I'm shouting from there, do your dharma, everything will be better, all will be solved, but nobody seems to listen to me. Vyasa's helplessness manifests through Krishna's helplessness. Here is a god of Hinduism who can't stop a war. Here is a god of Hinduism who is cursed that he will witness his entire family being wiped out in front of his eyes.
Another thing I want to talk about is property, which is a very interesting thing because the Mahabharata, as you said, on one level is a property dispute. It's about land. And of course, property comes with it, the I, me, mine thing. So there's an ownership angle, but there's a property angle to it as well. So, and also property, I guess what it is that it becomes a substitute for yourself. Your over-identification with the property is the problem. So I just want to talk a little bit about that.
See, let's look at what is property. You said use the word ownership and property as if it is different. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's very simple. When you walk into the room, why do people respect you?
Because they see this image of you having accumulated something and all that stuff.
And that's property. So Kunti is valued.
Reputation, money, children, anything is property.
So Kunti has more children than Madri. Gandhari has more children than Kunti. Kunti's children are far more talented. So each one of them is competing with each other just using children. One has 7 armies, another has 11 armies. मेरे पास गाड़ी है, मेरे पास बंगला है, तुम्हारे पास क्या है, मेरे पास माँ है. I'll tell you a story. We once were in a company I was working for. We were hiring a CEO and he was being paid double his salary. But he had to migrate to Bombay from New York. He had a green card. He was living a beautiful life. But we were giving him double his salary. It was a huge package. With a golden handshake. Like it was golden handshake, golden parachute, everything. It was like everything. We wanted him, but in Bombay. He was very happy. He thought he had cracked the best deal. Next day he came back saying, I'm so sorry, I'll have to not. He was very sad. He says, I can't take this job. His wife said, I married you because you had a green card. And that's when he realized Deha and Dehi. She didn't love him. She loved the fact that she was living in New York, which is all she wanted. So that is property. And the whole world looks at the world through property. We are all seeing, I don't see rich people. I see their money. I don't see powerful people. I see their capability of destroying my life. So I don't respect them, but I'm terrified of them. And we start believing people's fear is respect.
So what could we do for that?
So the point is that if you're not content, you will always compare. Content people never compare. Those who compare are not contented. So Forbes list is meant for discontented people. I know people who get so upset because they were 27th richest people, they become 26th. The next year is the worst year in their life because it's like a video game. No? All these people are playing video games. Their life has become a video game and there is a kind of a dashboard.
Yeah.
And they're playing the video game and you're like, okay.
And in the Mahabharata, where is in the Gita, where is that the comparison bit? What does...
They're all comparing, right? They're all comparing each other. Each one is comparing. Kunti is comparing with Madri. Madri is comparing with Gandhari.
The Kauravas and Pandavas
are comparing with each other. Property. He has a better property. I have a better property. That is Mahabharata. It is the magnificent piece of work for which people pay me a lot of money, but they don't listen.
Yes. Thank you so much, Devdutt. It was fantastic. I feel we could talk so much about many things and really enjoyed it. And would love to do more with you on other areas also.
Yes. Sure, anytime.
Thank you.